fashion show Paris heats up. Taehyung becomes the new inspiration of the fashion world. The streets of Paris have always carried whispers of romance, power, and artistic rebellion, but this week the city itself seemed to tremble under the presence of one man. When Kim Taehyung, widely known as V from the global phenomenon BTS, stepped into the spotlight at Paris Fashion Week, the air shifted. It wasn't just another celebrity sighting, nor was it merely a luxurious brand display. This was a cultural collision, a turning point that revealed the raw power of fashion when it is infused with artistry, music, and the uncontainable magnetism of a true icon. Paris Fashion Week is no stranger to stars, but Taehyung's entrance transformed what was once a routine showcase into an event that people will recount for decades. Journalists, fashion insiders, and fans from every corner of the globe turned their eyes toward a runway that suddenly burned with intensity. The atmosphere was electric, and as he appeared clad in a brand synonymous with prestige and global elegance, the audience erupted, not just with applause, but with awe, curiosity, and a sense that history was being written right before their eyes. Why Taehyung? Why now? Why Paris? These questions rippled through social media feeds as the world watched clips of his striking presence. Draped in red velvet with intricate gold embroidery, accented by bold accessories that seemed both timeless and futuristic, Taehyung's look was not simply fashion. It was storytelling. Every thread whispered heritage, every jewel gleamed ambition, and every detail screamed confidence. This was not just clothing, it was armor. An artist's armor. And Paris was ready to receive it. Behind the glamour, the moment carried weight. For years, Taehyung has been celebrated for his duality, soft yet strong, elegant yet rebellious, grounded yet otherworldly. Fashion houses had long admired his aura, but Paris Fashion Week 2025 finally positioned him not just as a guest or muse, but as the very axis around which the conversation revolved. Industry critics didn't just comment on the outfit, they dissected the movement, the posture, the silence in the room as he walked past. In that silence, a shift occurred. Fashion had found its new reference point. The eruption online was immediate. Hashtags tied to Taehyung trended across platforms within minutes. Fans who had been eagerly waiting outside the venue screamed his name, their voices echoing through the Parisian streets. Inside, photographers jostled for the perfect angle, knowing each frame was destined for the front page of fashion magazines worldwide. Outside, ARMY, the loyal fandom that has stood by BTS through every storm, felt their pride swell as Taehyung redefined what it means for an Asian artist to dominate the luxury stage. Paris Fashion Week has always been about more than clothes, it is about statements. And Taehyung's statement was crystal clear: the boundaries of art are dissolving, and he is leading the charge. By aligning himself with one of the world's most powerful fashion houses, he symbolized a new era, one where music, performance, and couture are inseparable. The man once known as the soulful voice of BTS was now standing as a visionary, a force beyond the confines of a single industry. Whispers backstage painted the picture even more vividly. Designers spoke in hushed tones about how Taehyung brought a different energy to fittings. He didn't just wear the clothes, he conversed with them, embodied them, and transformed them. His aura turned garments into stories, and stories into living art. For the house that dressed him, this was not just a marketing move but an awakening. They had discovered, in Taehyung, a muse who didn't simply reflect beauty but created it in real time. But perhaps the most unforgettable element was not the clothes or the jewels or the luxurious atmosphere of Paris itself. It was his expression. At one point, seated on a woven chair in the center of the venue, Taehyung rested his face on his hand. A simple pose. Yet in that instant, cameras clicked furiously, capturing what would later be described as one of the most iconic images of the season. His expression carried mystery, vulnerability, and unshakable confidence all at once. A contradiction so perfectly Taehyung that the world couldn't look away. The fashion world has often been criticized for recycling old ideas, clinging to outdated standards of beauty, or relying on spectacle rather than substance. But in this moment, Paris witnessed a revolution. Taehyung didn't just showcase fashion, he was fashion. The show was not about a collection, but about a man who became the collection itself. Critics scrambled to find words, fans flooded timelines with emotional messages, and industry veterans nodded with recognition. A new chapter had begun, and yet, with all the global buzz, Taehyung himself remained grounded. He didn't bask in the chaos but allowed the art to speak for him. He has always been enigmatic, rarely offering explanations, preferring to let fans interpret the poetry of his existence. And perhaps that is why he inspires so deeply. In an age when celebrities overshare, Taehyung's mystery becomes his power. Fashion thrives on mystery, and in him, it found the perfect partner. As the night ended, Paris was still buzzing. The Eiffel Tower sparkled against the evening sky, and conversations spilled out of cafes onto the cobbled streets. Everyone had a theory. Was Taehyung preparing for a deeper collaboration with the brand? Would this appearance signal the beginning of his reign as a global fashion icon beyond music? Was Paris Fashion Week just the first chapter of a larger narrative? The questions lingered, unanswered but thrilling. The truth is, no one can predict where Taehyung will go next. And that is exactly what makes him so magnetic. He is not bound by tradition, nor does he walk a predictable path. He is both the question and the answer, the muse and the artist, the moment and the mystery. In Paris, he became not just an attendee but the inspiration, the flame that set Fashion Week ablaze. For ARMY, this was more than fashion. It was validation. It was proof that their beloved Taehyung, the boy with dreams and the man with immeasurable talent, had claimed his rightful space on the world stage. For the industry, it was a reminder that the future of fashion does not lie in old molds but in the courage to embrace new muses who defy definition. And for Paris, it was a love story, between a city known for beauty and a man who redefined it. As the last lights dimmed and the buzz settled into memory, one truth remained undeniable: Paris Fashion Week 2025 was not about clothes. It was about Taehyung. And the world will never forget the night he set it on fire.